Okay, so this is called Learn to Code. It's a file folder game. We got it from our library. It's made by Lakeshore. It comes with 10 games inside of the box. We just pulled out the first one and decided to play it. This is a coding game. They're all coding games, actually. It's called Boat Race, and it comes with everything you need right inside the box. This is perfect for homeschooling, for teachers, for really anybody that's interested in coding. She wanted to look at it for a second and read the instructions for it, so I let her do that. So it's pretty simple to play this game. You take all your arrow tiles and you place them on the map. So there's ones that tell it to go up or down in this particular one. No, it's actually down or right. And then you have your pawn, as they call it. You put your pawn on the board and you start to set up your code. And you move it along the board as you set up the code. So say you say it's going to be down, down, right, 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 down, down, right. So you put that across the top where it says code. And that's what the whole board looks like. And then you run it. And I say run it because, that's kind of what you do in a code. But there is the envelope that has all of your tiles in it. So it has your boat tile and then all of your directional tiles. So there's your little pawn, because that's what they call it in the game, the pawn. And then I'm trying to open that up. Those are all of your little individual tiles for the code. This one's pretty simple as far as the pieces. You've got the pawn itself, you've got down pieces, and you've got right pieces. So right here, we're just getting it set up and kind of giving her a quick rundown of what the pieces are and what you do. Okay, and here she kind of decided that she didn't really like all of the pieces sitting on the board and she'd rather have them in her hand. So she picked them all up, put them in her hand, other than the actual player or the pawn, as they call it. This is also where I made a really big mistake but didn't figure out too much later. All right, so now we're trying to create our first set of code. Now she's going through and she kind of looks at it and places all the pieces down first to see if this code is going to work. All right, so now when you do this, after you created your code, it's time to test your code. She goes through and she's following your code step by step. And the object of this one, though, is you cannot land on any of the dark colored spaces. And here we hit a dark colored space. All right, so time to try it again. That is part of coding. If it does not work, you go for it again. So we set up another code. She's going through. She's using a different direction than she did the last time. But we hit the space again. And this is kind of where I'm like, okay, something is not quite right. And she's starting to kind of question it too. Something's not working right. Why am I keep hitting the dark spaces no matter what I do? So we go and we flip it over and I look to see where it is you're supposed to start. And I don't actually pick up at that moment that I've been starting in the wrong space. You're not supposed to start at test. You're supposed to start at the start position. And we've been starting from the testing position each time. And so I go back and I read the instructions again because she thinks something is going wrong. I think something is going wrong. So let's reread the instructions. When I reread them for, the third time, and this is just me was not paying attention. You were supposed to start on start because I'm looking and reading directions again, and then I'm looking at the picture seeing where they're actually starting. The test location is where you're sitting when you're trying to figure out your code and before you ever even start it. But when you actually start your code, you need to put your tile on the start position. All right, what do? We try again, but this time we're actually in the right position, the start tile instead of the test space. And what she does in this one, she puts each piece of code down and she also moves her tile while she's placing her code. I honestly don't think she would have done that if we hadn't have kind of messed up a couple of times because I didn't put her in the right starting position. But, there's totally nothing wrong with doing this. And we were actually able to get to the finish without running into the dark tiles. She really, really liked this. I liked it. It's a good way to practice coding unplugged. 10 out of 10.